So you work steadily now on shows. So what's the schedule like? How do you get your script? Do they email it to you? Does someone come by and hand it to you? Do you get all of it, or you just get sides?
Wow.
Do you get how does your week go, or how do your days go? What do you do?
Wow. Well, I would say that
first, go for it, Melissa.
Sure. I mean, I would say that for most actors, it's really rare that you have a sort of schedule like that, because most days you don't really know, or it could be you're booked for a week. They only need you 2 days, two of those days. But I'm in that lucky position, which is the 4-cam or the multicam sitcom, which is an actual schedule. And it is Monday to Friday. One episode takes a week, 5 days. You start with a table read. We start our table read on Wednesdays, which would be our Monday. So Wednesdays, you come in at about 10 o'clock. You got the script probably the night before. In the old days, in the very beginning Reba days, the PA would deliver the script. And I would remember just waiting to hear that script hit the stairs, and running down at night and waiting for changes, or what scenes do I have? And I loved it.
The script hit this, was it by a paperboy?
It was like a newsie back in those days, because I'm that old. It was extra, read all about it. Barbara Jean got cut from scene B.
And it would come in a manila envelope, right? And it would
manila envelope with your name on it, and depending on
brads.
Yep.
Holding it all together.
Your script.
Ironically.
And every night, and in sitcom world, the multicam, after every day they change. The writers go back in and they tweak it, and so every night you'd be waiting up for the new changes, so you could read it before the next morning. Now, of course, it's emailed to you, which I still like. But then when you get to work, they'll have a hard copy to carry around so you can study it easier. But I mean, I like having an actual script in my hand. So where was I? Monday to Friday is a multicam sitcom. You start with a table read. So you come in, you at a table, and there's network and studio people, and all the writers are all gathered around while they hear the script for the first time for that week's episode. And I always was taught, and I try to tell everybody that's still, you have to make sure you're prepared for that, because that's the first time the writers are hearing something they've been working on for months. And so make sure you know how things are pronounced. Make sure what they meant by this, how if there's a page and it turns around and you have more on the other side, make sure you know that. Be prepared to read it so they can really hear it for the first time. And you might make a mistake and mess up something or say it wrong, but make that be an actual mistake, not because you weren't prepared. So I try to really, at least go over it a couple times. And if I do have a question, I try to find the writer of that episode right before and say, I'm sorry, I don't know, what's the song that you're referring to? What's that joke? And acts so you know. So anyway, you go in and read it. And then the actors are whisked away, go back to your dressing room, and that's when the studio and the network will give the writers their notes for that episode. And they may be big. Go ahead.
On that, is that she's absolutely right. I think that when I started, I didn't realize how this isn't let's get together and just read this for the first time. You want to be pretty clear on what the jokes are, how you're going to land those jokes, how to pronounce every single word, because I've seen people cut.
They get fired. It's still an audition. You can get fired after a table read. Mm-hmm. An actor can
come in looking like your character should look, because you still don't have we don't quite have the job if the network doesn't agree with the casting of it. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
No, you're right. And I mean, even knowing that you're on the show, and you still are I don't think at this point I'll get fired after a table read. But you know what? They might cut that scene and go, we thought she could really sell this thing, and maybe it's not working. So you're still auditioning in a way of proving, showing them your voice, showing them what you can do, and also to me it's just showing the writers that it's their baby. It's whether you are in love with it's waiting. They've been waiting for a long time to hear these out loud, and they're excited, they're nervous, and it's watching. It's you don't want to mess it up for them, and you wouldn't want them to mess it up for you. So you just really want to make sure you nail it. And
So
then,
imagine like four of those writers are all pitching for that same punchline at the end of the teaser, and the one gets it. You want to make sure that you make that sing for them, because then,
yeah.
that's their joke. That's their baby.
And writers, and if you do that and like respect what they do, they're more apt to listen to you when you go, I love that, but could I try this on one take? And of course they're going to be more apt to like listening or willing to hear you if you realize I will always give you what you need and what you give me, but can I play a little bit? And I've been very lucky on every sitcom and multicam with Kevin Abbott, Matt Berry, and then with Dan and Berenson and Heidi in that group, and then back with Kevin and Matt again. They are very great about collaborating, understanding that the writers and the actors are on the same team, and we are, we all ultimately want the same thing, which is a great episode. So after you do that table read, you go back to your room, allow yourself a few moments of self-loathing while you go, oh, I could have done that better. Then you get over and get a coffee and you wait. And depending on how big the changes are, sometimes they're big where they're like, oh, we're going to restructure that A story, so we're not going to overly rehearse that today because we know we're getting a ton of new pages. Or they'll say not a ton of changes, so let's get it on its feet. And you'll briefly start to rehearse it that day. And, not super hard, like nailing everything, just getting it on its feet. And then you leave. And it's usually a pretty nice, wonderful, short day. For camera is the ultimate dream job as far as that. The next day.
Do you want to talk about what getting on its feet means?
That means that you take your script, you get on the set, and you go, let's try this scene. You're coming in it looks like you're coming out of the office. And what's interesting, and I find, and Peter, you probably know this too, there are some episodes or scripts that at the table, they flawless. They work so well. The jokes are working, everything's working. And then you put it on its feet and start to move around with it. And you realize, oh, that joke doesn't work if we're walking. That joke doesn't work if the timing worked better because we were sitting and we were just the words. And sometimes when actions come in or it gets on its feet, it doesn't work as well. And then some things at the table, you're like, this feels like kind of clunky. And then you do put it up and you start moving around the set in it, and it actually works better. And I don't always know why. Sometimes I do. It's because some jokes work standing still. Some jokes work when it's, when you can time it. Sometimes timing gets changed when you're moving, so it's an interesting thing. So so we'll put it on its feet, which means Pam, our director, will sort of loosely block us, show us where she thinks we might be entering or exiting. But we have a say in it. Like if Reba or Pablo or any one of us was sort of like, it doesn't feel like I should be sitting here, or it feels really inactive. Pam is really, and as most directors are open to going, well, let's try it where you're over here and maybe you're walking in. So you sort of just start to feel out the scene and get it on its feet. And then you go home and you wait for that.
Are you given blocking at all? Or is it really fully organic where you're like, I feel like she's going to walk over to the bar at this point? Or is your director saying, I think this works best if I can move this action over here?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I think Pam, who's been directing multicam for so many years, and she is the GOAT. She is so good at it, and so she understands it. So when she says, you know what, for the cameras, I think it'd be great. Like if we're in too deep, this is going to be hard. Like she definitely has a vision. A director also comes into that table read where she's probably blocked out what she thinks it is. Like this is going to be work better if it's a 2-shot here, or it's going to go like the master's going to be like, there's always that, but she definitely has a vision and always is right. Usually when Pam goes, we're like, Pam, I feel like I would like to like spin around here or like walk. And wouldn't it be funny if I had a glass and I was like drinking something? And then Pam will go like, yeah, but see, and then you go, oh, you're right. That doesn't work. But Pam lets us work it out and like, let us sometimes show ourselves why that wouldn't work. And sometimes we need to do that where Reba and I are like, oh, wouldn't it be neat if we did this? And then we try it and it doesn't work. And then we go back to what probably Pam intended anyway. But Pam's such a great director that she never hampers our ideas. And sometimes we have to find it and figure it out. And like, there was a scene we shot like 2 weeks ago, maybe it was last week. And it was one of those jokes that's so specific that if it's like somebody, it's got to be like where the line is like, well, I don't know why this, and all of a sudden the person's like this, and it's because they're getting a cue off from another character going like, smile, change it up, and so it's that physical comedy that's like this way, and you're the person's down low, but then they see something and then they're up, and to shoot that for a 4-camera for that, I mean, if single cam would be super easy to like, isolate it out and do that, but for a 4-camera, I was so fun to watch Pam figure it out, going, we can do this in front of the audience and make it work, where they see that Pablo is signaling to Rex to like put on a show, make it big, and she made it work. And it was one of those that it was such a specific comedy thing that's timing, and Pam made it work, blocking in the 4-camera world, which it's fun to watch. These are a lot of tangents. This is one day. We're only on Wednesday, people.
Yeah. but we love this. This is interesting to me, and I think it is a lot of people, probably 4 others. So, does the script though have some basics though about that, or is that not into the? Okay, so there's a starting point. Okay,
we get stage directions that are like morning at the bar. It's not open yet, so they're prepping stuff for that. Yes, they give us general stuff to it, but sometimes even the writers for like, there's a moment where like, we wrote it where the bar was closed, and then the next scene it like there's sometimes you're all figuring it out together. So,
as a bit queen, where do you think that starts to take shape? Like, like when you decided to
queen, like, is that a term?
For Bitcoin, it's a bit queen. Yeah, I like bits. I like prop bits. I like little things like that. I don't feel like I figured that out till like maybe like the 3rd day, like where it's like, all right, we're still going to get some changes. We might get jokes that change a bit, but it looks like the structure's playing. But yeah, I'll start to play. Like I love stuff like that because might never make the camera.
You're so good at it.
I had one whole bit with one of our background who I love. It was like that I was waiting for Reba, Bobby's character, to enter, and I can't wait for her to enter. But I made a bit that I was just starting to pour a customer wine, and then Reba walked in, and I just shoved the bottle and the wine to the customer to like finish it herself. And I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if it'll ever make it in. I'm sure they'll just start with me moving, but I love that stuff. I go, that would be funny. It's funny, and we're trying, it's interesting because this is a show that takes place in a bar. And, one of my favorite shows of all time took place in a bar, Cheers. And I was actually watching some of those old episodes to watch the business, because often we're having these big giant scenes with characters, and there's patrons there. There's people sitting at the bar. I'm like, we've got to start incorporating, are they hearing this? Are they not? Do they know, sort of trying to figure out how much to like interact or play, and we're getting better at figuring that stuff out. My thing is always incorporate. I'm like, what are you looking at? I'm talking here. Like, it's just that I don't care that they're here. I'll still have my moment. So I like to come up with bits with my background peeps who are so fantastic, and we have our regulars. So I like to give bits with them, but I don't start that day one, because day one I'm like, it's going to change. They might even change the scene. I don't know. So I don't start thinking about like, what could I do here? Ooh, what could be fun to play with? And sometimes, by the way, I don't figure it out till the night up, where I'm all of a sudden in the office doing a scene with Rex or somebody, and I go, oh, I didn't even think I could spin around in the chair that way, So it takes a while sometimes, but I'm always thinking about it. I mean, if I can add something ridiculous,
you will.
I will.
More is more.
I mean,
more is more.
I'm the same way. And when you get in front of even the audience, like there's a level of confidence that suddenly you get injected with, and the bits just pour out.
Yeah.
Watch out, everybody.
You can't stop. That's the other thing, is all of it will be different the minute that audience comes in, which is why I
the energy
love
of that.
The 4-camera. I love that medium. It's different than it's different than any other one around. Like, single camera is like making a movie, and making movies are, their own beast sometimes too. But anyway, I like them all for different reasons, but this is my favorite because you do get immediate feedback from that audience, and you know that things are going to change the minute you have that energy. So that's Wednesday. And then
It's
I come
Wednesday.
home and that's Wednesday. And then you wait for changes. You come back on Thursday and you get there. Usually the cast, we kind of get our breakfast, our coffee. Maybe we'll read it again. If there was like some major changes, sometimes the writers will come down right away first thing in the morning and they'll want to just hear us read it quick on the table while we're having breakfast or whatever. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I love it. I'm that actor that I love when writers are on the set because it's the best way to get a question answered or go like, can you look at this and tell me, you know, because a lot of times if they're not there, I feel like you ask them later and I'm not good at articulating sometimes what I mean when I say this doesn't feel right or it feels like I'm skipping a step or so sometimes I love it when writers come down and listen or watch a scene. I really like it. I mean, I like to know that they're there so they don't hear me if I'm talking about other stuff. But I love it when the writers are there. So we'll do that, and then we'll start. We'll start rehearsing right away, and that'll be like usually we do it in order. We rehearse and block each scene because at the end of that day we're going to show the writers and the studio and the writers will come in for that run through. So we'll block the whole show. We'll spend, time on each scene, rehearsing it, blocking it. And then at the end, like usually around 2:00 or 2:30, 2:00, the writers will come in with the studio and we'll do a complete run through, which is like doing the show. We'll just do it for them from start to finish, like we're taping it. And then what's great is that Kevin will take the actors after that run through and let us sit. We usually sit in Bobby's living room. That's where we all meet. And he'll ask us if we have questions, which, by the way, not every show runners or head writers let actors ask questions or weigh in, which is really lovely about Kevin is that I know that if I text him at 10 o'clock and go, I'm confused about this, he'll answer. But it's really nice that he like gives us an opportunity to sit down and go page by page if we have a question or a note. And then
but what's a question? The questions are going to be relevant questions. Obviously, they're not existential questions.
Better? Can this line be better for me? And
sometimes
can I have
for
more
me,
of those lines?
Like, I never worry about the jokes. I mean, I do because I usually have like ideas or want to pitch one, and Kevin's really great about letting me try something on the second take of when we're taping. But my questions are usually I get more anxious about when I don't know what I want in that episode. Like I'm like, what is Gabby? It seems like I'm all over the place. Like one minute I'm here or I feel like my point of view, for me, it's about point of view. My questions usually in that first day is like, what do I want? What are my intentions? What do I want in this episode? So for me, when I feel like intentions seem different in every, which is fine, because then I want him to say, you know what, you're all over the place. She can't decide. This is her point of view is she's trying to please everybody. If I know that, I'm good. Sometimes I just have questions about that, or I have questions about a line. What does he mean by it? Sometimes I don't get it, and I ask a question. But usually, it's sort of about. For me, it's more about what the intent is, like in that episode. But then they can be dumb questions like, "Does this make sense?" Or "Can I change this? Can I not say it this way because it doesn't feel like it comes naturally the way I would say it?" He's really open to that. And then sometimes we just have questions about a point of view, And then sometimes they're just word questions or joke questions. And sometimes I feel like we just want to talk as actors. Like, we want to talk and feel like we're talking. Thank you for listening. And now we're fine. And then we forgot about it. So we all, we can be actory. We can get a little actory in those moments. And then we leave. And then Kevin will still have to deal with the studio coming in going, here's our thoughts. And then then they all go back and change it and try to address everybody's thoughts. And then you come back again on Friday and do the same thing over again, which is we'll meet in the morning and we'll just start blocking and rehearsing whether we have new lines or not. And then at the end of that day, we'll do a run through for our studio, our writers, our production team, and the network. The network will be in that day. So definitely lip gloss and mascara. I have that
just a quick explanation of the difference between studio and network, because that may not be, I'm not totally clear about what you mean by that.
And by the way, I've been doing this for a thousand years, and I'm not always clear. Well, the studio is sort of like who's making it. Like
when we were doing the company,
when we were doing when we were doing the Reba show, it was Fox was making it for the WB. So the WB was the network, and Fox was the studio. And now we're NBC Universal. So I think it's Universal is our studio, and NBC is our network. I think I got that right. I hope but yeah, so it's, and sometimes it's the same family, and sometimes it could be like, is it Amazon Studio or not Amazon? Is it like, is it Paramount for CBS? Is it, you know what I mean? It's sort of that thing. Mm-hmm. So, but right now we're NBC Universal under that umbrella. So, I believe that's how that works. I don't know. They're all very nice.
They're all lovely. But they all want to have a little say. They all want to add to the painting. They all want to put their mark on it. So even towards the very end, I found, I mean, you can speak to this way more than I can, but that it's never fully baked until you're in front of the audience. Yeah. Because everyone is still tweaking and wanting to be part of the creative process, and you have to give all the
even in front of the audience, there's changes. Even we've been in front of an audience during the scene. Sorry, that even the night of the show that could happen, and I think what's great is that Elvis, get down, is that, oh my God, he's literally trying to sit on the chair. I don't know what he thinks he's getting. And what's, I think Kevin always appreciates, because sometimes, as a showrunner, Kevin is thinking of the big picture of like the arc of the season maybe, or this whole episode. And as actors, we're thinking about just our character and what we're doing in that scene. So we get very myopic. He's thinking big picture. Network is thinking about these things. So everyone has got maybe relevant things to say, but they're all coming from different points of view. And Kevin has to digest all of this and grind it together and sort of come out with the sitcom sausage. There we go. There's an analogy.
We got Bit Queen and
sausage. But the fun thing is that I'm trying to remember when you get to sit in. I forget, was it on the original Reba show? Sometimes we got to sit in on some of the notes sessions, which I find fascinating, because it's so great when you hear like a network exec give a note and you realize, oh wow, they're thinking this many episodes ahead, or like what, I mean, I don't know. I find it, I love, I tell this to any actor, if someone's going to let you stick around for any of those things, stick around, whether it's for a run through, or if you're just the guest star, like come sit down and just try to like listen in. I think it's an interesting thing to think about, because everyone is coming at it with a different agenda or point of view, or and they're valid, and they're like, oh wow, that's really smart. I didn't even think of it that way, because I am thinking of my little thing, like I think this joke's funnier, I want to try this joke. And you realize that there's so many other things that are coming into play that we have no idea about. We're just thinking about the joke or the fun scene we get to do or the words, and they're thinking of so many other things.
And it's so easy to feel like I'm obviously more informed than any of these executives, but we're on the inside. So we're really just looking at the trees from above. Well, they have this completely different view of the forest in its entirety. And so more often than not, their point of view is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the
and I'm always surprised. I'm like, oh, that's actually...
That's right. You're
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
That works better if we did it that way. And I do remember, though, the first time I, as an actor, like you do, someone's like, well, I don't get why I have to be here this time of day and my scene's not up till the very last one, or I have one in the morning and that very last one that day. And then you realize, that, oh, it's because that set has to be like, there's a big changeover, or that set has to be taken down right after this scene. Like you realize, oh, there's 1,000 departments that they're trying to like make it streamlined for everybody. And I remember like, that was a great lesson to learn early on too, of like, well, it's not about what's convenient for this one person. It's about what works best for the entire company. And that's the reason why this has to be the last scene, because once this scene is done, we have to take this down, and these guys are going to stay overnight and build a whole new set for tomorrow that's going to live for the next week. So it's great That's why I do say, like, if you have a chance to like listen in on a production meeting and understand why, you know, they're going to shoot in this order, it's because wardrobe's got 30 hockey uniforms they have to have ready
Right.
in that moment. Or it's because props has to have a actually working, smoke has to happen. Like, there's so many things that come into play from every department of why this has to be pre-shot or this has to be go live. It's just, it makes it makes everybody a better at what they do if they realize how much is everyone else is doing and why those decisions are made.
To be aware that you're part of it's artistry, but it's a business. You know, it's a massive machine with so many moving parts. It's this little city that has to completely reinvent itself every single week, in some cases every single day. And the sooner that I think I was able to, I still am struggling with this, but humble myself and say, you're not the most important person in this room.
Yeah. Absolutely not. Yeah.
Okay, so that gets you through Friday.
To Thursday.
No, I think that's right, because Friday. And then Monday you come and do it all again.
So, like most multicams, and I don't know if it's always been like this way, but some people prefer actual Monday to Friday. Like Monday would be your table read, and then Friday is your tape night. Because our table read is Wednesday, our tape night is Tuesday nights. So then over the weekend, hopefully the script is not going to change too much, and you can have the weekend to really go through it, study it. Sometimes we all like Rex is so great. Rex is like the actor's actor. He loves to rehearse. As much as anyone wants to. So sometimes on Sundays we'll get together and rehearse as a whole cast, or maybe just whoever's got some scenes together that really want to get in it and work at it again. But usually the weekend is when you can, you know, if you feel like it, like be ready for Monday, because Monday is you come in and the camera, our crew is there. The camera operators are there, and we're going to show them what the scenes look like so they can start setting up. This is where Melissa's going to be here, and then she moves here. This is where our audio and boom guy knows that this is the last line of the scene, and blah blah blah. So we show them and we show them the whole show, and then on Mondays is when we might pre-shoot a few scenes that we're not going to do live, which means like it could be.
I think this is kind of cool. Sorry to interrupt.
Really
no, go
quick,
ahead. But I think that when she says them, it's most of the crew, also including her stand-in. So there's going to be someone with Melissa's complexion, with her hair color, and her height. That is going to work.
My stand-in.
Right? Who's amazing.
She's amazing. I love her.
But like, they need to know how they're going to light someone of her complexion.
Yes, so we call them second. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, please go ahead. Yeah, no, I just wanted to point that out because I think that's an interesting part of the process. It is an interesting
thing because I have a show I want to do called Second Team, because we have the best second team. Our that we've got Evan, who is Rex, and we've got Jesse, and we've got Ashley, Amber, and Amy, and Joe, and like our second team is amazing, and we truly love them. But so once we show them, once the actors show our camera guys and our lighting guys and everybody what the show looks like, we go away to get hair and makeup on so we can pre-shoot a few scenes that we might not be doing live in front of the audience. We might pre-shoot them because it's a set that's way far away from the studio audience and it won't be easy for them to see, or we may pre-shoot it because it has a special effect in it, or it's a big costume change.
Or a baby, anything that like has like unreliable results, something that could like take the audience out of it because we have to deal with a truculent child.
Oh God, truculent again.
This one's going to air before the other one.
Oh God.
Oh shoot. All right. Anyway, so go on.
So then we'd go away, and then our fantastic second team, Ashley, would come in. And we'll be there and do it. And by the way, our second team too, they also have stepped in. Like Amy has stepped in for when Reba had a day off or couldn't make it. There was something, she had another commitment. And so Amy had to do it. We had another, was it Joey that came in, one of our background, that had to come in and step in for Reba. And they know her cadence. They know how to like hit that punchline even. Like these are actors. that are working as stand-ins who are so good at what they do. And like Evan has come in and done Rex, and like Jesse can do Pablo, and like they can come in, and sometimes if they have to do it for a run through, if somebody had to go, like if there was an emergency, they will deliver the line with the same like punchline or the same cadence, and like deliver it in an amazing way. So they're incredible. I just wanted to give them a big shout out.
Does the second team take on your personalities, like, you know, the way pets start to act like the owners?
She's my better half. I call her. She's better than me. I think I believe, like, I do want to do a show idea in the vein of like Extras called Second Team, where you watch, or I think there could be a fun thing where like you watch that second team does the whole show. Like, but yeah, Ashley is, you know, it's funny. And this is a true story, because I am so tall that a lot of times my stand-in is, that there's not always, you know, a woman that's my height. I've had many male stand-ins for me that play me.
Oh, to get those shoulders, you got to get those shoulders.
You know.
Yeah.
But I've got Ashley this go around, and she's lovely. Yeah, but
I hear that the writers, though, when they work through the scripts, they do take on our personalities and our cadences, and they make fun of us.
We're slowly turning into me. If there's lightning and by some sort of water, we could Freaky Friday it any day. Isn't that how Freaky Friday happened? What was it that made
she by a lake?
She's probably more of a bit princess then. Is she's just not quite.
But I'll tell you what.
Diva.
But then when I come back in after hair and makeup, which is usually a brief 10 hours for me, can you believe it? Then if Pam, if our director or our lighting guy or our cameras are like, if there was any tweaks to it, Ashley they're so organized. They could come out like, Melissa, you got to lean on the bar when Pablo's delivering this line, because otherwise you're blocking him. Your giant shoulders are going to block camera B from him seeing it. So like Ashley, they are so meticulous about telling us and reminding us. Like sometimes at one point, I think I asked her like how to like say lines, because she knows it better than me. But you know, she'll say like, Pam wants you to come out further of the bar for this scene, because it turns out when we were showing them that Dave can't get you on his camera, you know, so you need to make sure that you can get out there. So she tells me, I immediately forget it, and then she'll remind me again once we get to that scene.
I'm terrible at that.
Yeah.
Like a technical note, if you want to give me an emotional note, great, fine, perfect. I can, but if it's a technical note, like lean on the bar, we both have broad shoulders. Oh, God.
I forget it every time.
But I appreciate the note, yeah.
But it's funny, you know, and then I'm one that actor that I love to do all of my scenes live. I don't really like it when I have to pre-shoot. Although I don't mind if we pre-shoot it and we're going to come back and do it in front of the audience. We sort of just did it for coverage and maybe just in case. That I don't mind, because then you realize, oh, we've already got it in the can. I can totally have fun. I love the live thing. I think I don't know if I want to speak from it, but I think, like, you know, I'm trying to remember in the Reba, the very first series, the Reba show, I think on tape days, we came in and did the whole show. We taped the whole show, one take with our camera guys, just to get it in the can for coverage. And then would go have dinner and come back and do the live one again, like do it again. And Reba and I we're trying to figure out, did we did get the whole thing in the can before we did it live. So we always had it done in case you needed coverage or like to cut away, and then we would do it live. But now for Happy's Place, we usually only have a couple that are like completely pre-shot that we do not go back to for the live show. But I like mine live. And by the way, usually even if you're doing some of a scene for coverage, meaning just in case, you end up using most of the live stuff anyway, because it just is a better performance. But they may need that extra stuff for coverage, like, oh, we need to cut to Belisa for this shot or whatever. But that's our Monday. And then Tuesdays, you come in later in the day, like around maybe 11 a.m. And you'll show, I think we come in, we show the scenes again. Before we go to hair and makeup, we show our camera guys and our whole crew again, go to hair and makeup. And then we have a long break where we have dinner and hang out. And then they loaded the audience at about 5 o'clock. And we'll go back into hair and makeup for touch-ups, and then we do a speed through of the whole show together. Pam will come to the hair and makeup room. Our script supervisor, Kirsten, will come into the hair and makeup room, and we do a speed through, and then we say our prayer. We put our hands in, and then we go out, and the audience has been watching an episode while we are doing this, and then we have cast intros, which is still gives me goosebumps every time. I am never not overwhelmed to like have your name be called out and to run out in front of an audience. I'll cry now. Like I cry at curtain calls for other people at openings. I never take it for granted when you hear our warm-up guy, whether it's Mark or Bill or somebody, like introduce you to that audience. It's just, there's nothing like it. And then we go out and then we say hello and then we just start the show. And we're doing a one-act play in front of a live studio audience, which in the old days, on any given night, there could be 10 or 12 multicams being shot in Hollywood. And we're one of the few that are still doing it. So it's every time. I am so grateful, and it's the most fun ever. Tuesday nights are the most fun ever. And then we do it, and it's great. Did that kind of explain?
What's your chant?
Our chant is
fantastic.
Can you share that?
I brought one of my little chants that we do from Baby Daddy, which is, are you happy? Say yeah. Say HAPPY, which we do kind of backstage. But our chant that I believe that Rex Lynn got together is before even run-throughs, before we start our rehearsal days, before we do anything, we put all of our hands in and we go 1, 2, 3, have fun. Because as much work and as how much work comes into this, it's fun. And if we're not having fun, no one else is. And we have to, reminding yourself how lucky and how fun it is to get to do the job that you dreamed of doing since, at least for me, since I was a little kid and was watching, Carol Burnett's show or any of those shows. So it's just a great, we're going to go out and have fun. It's fun to do what we do. So we say 1, 2, 3, have fun. And I love it. And it's always a nice reminder. And we always, we invite people to say a little prayer and be grateful and gratitude, which we do before everyone, which I love that. And yeah.
Yeah, that is different than comedians. Let's just
probably a lot different than you broken stand-ups back in the green room.
Where someone just goes, doesn't sound like your crowd, but good luck. Something like that, right before you go up and things like that. Or
do you all have to sit in the back green room together? Waiting to go on.
Yeah, unless you don't like the person.
I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this episode to tell everybody how odd the stand-up green rooms are. No, I mean, they're
very. We're not going to get to it. We're not going to be able to get to it. Well, we won't have time.
On another episode,
I'm afraid we're out of time.
Melissa and Peter the Man. Melissa and Peter.